Hey there, this is Barbara here, and today I want to talk to you a little bit about who I am and why I have been talking to you about stuttering all of this time. How did I get here? Well, I'm going to explain a little bit about my personality, and while I'm doing it, I'd like you to think about your personality and how it helps you to be the person who you are. If you like this video, I hope you'll subscribe to it and be sure and click on the little bell so that you'll get notifications and won't miss one of the new videos as they come on. Also, don't forget to share it with a friend. You never know who might be interested in learning about stuttering. So today I'm going to tell you 10 things about me that really led me to being the clinician that I am, and also that led me to coming up with a different idea about stuttering than most of my colleagues have. So, what is the first thing that I can tell you about me? And that is that I'm stubborn. That can be a detriment, but it can also be very positive, because when I get something, an idea in my head, I don't give up. And that was why when I was a young clinician and everybody was telling me that there's just no way that you can help a person who stutters ever speak fluently, I couldn't believe that. I just said, wait, this is and then it was the 20th century. I said, we're coming up with all kinds of solutions to problems. Why can't we come up with a solution for stuttering? So I couldn't really accept that, and stubbornly I decided I'm going to just keep looking and finding better ways to help my clients. This isn't something that is not doable. Everything is doable. So that led me to another quality about myself that I think really helped, and that is that I like to find out the whys. I was probably one of those annoying little kids who always says, why this, why that, why? Well, it's really a good thing, I think. So when your kids ask you why, be patient. But I needed to know why. Why don't I stutter? Why do certain people stutter? Why do people stutter more sometimes and less sometimes? What's going on inside? And it was really important for me to know what was below the surface. So many people just look at stuttering on the surface as being the stuttered speech. Well, that was, I think, the problem, and we have to look deeper. There are reasons for everything. Everything has a reason. And if you want to know what the reason is, what the why is, you just have to keep delving deeper. So that's what I did. And another thing about me is that I am not stuck on one perspective or another. And that really was something that helped me a lot, because I know a lot of people who have learned a certain approach towards stuttering, or maybe they just believe that it's, everybody has the right to stutter, and they're not even willing willing to look that maybe there's more to it. It's great. Everybody does have the right to stutter. Some of the things that people have learned in university are beneficial. But we have to not be stuck on only one thing. Being open-minded and moving from one perspective to another perspective and looking into it, exploring it, can be very helpful. I know that, well, for instance, I started off doing stuttering modification therapy because that's what I was taught. And I also tried this airflow stuff and breathing, and I tried that. And every time that something didn't work, then I went to something, I dropped it. If it wasn't beneficial, I'm not going to keep doing this. And if something was beneficial to one person, to two people, to three, to four, hey, there must be something in this. So then I would use that as a point to do further exploration. After stuttering modification, I decided, well, there's so much psychological aspects to stuttering that I better look into this. And I really spent a few years really doing a lot of Gestalt therapy and believing that this had to be the way that we had to work with our clients just through the psychological modalities. Well, after a while, when it wasn't giving all the results that my clients wanted, I had to look further. So it was a lot of my colleagues said to me, Barbara, how can you go learn fluency shaping after you've been doing all this Gestalt work? You're a traitor. And I didn't feel that way. I thought that it would be better to look into different areas and maybe we can find something that is even better. But of course, I learned from every aspect of what I did. I didn't continue doing fluency shaping. I learned a lot from it. I learned that it gave me a direction for looking deeper. But I didn't continue to do fluency shaping because there were so many aspects about it that I thought didn't make sense or weren't really beneficial to at least the majority of my clients. And when I did see somebody who really did get over stuttering after doing fluency shaping, and there were those people, I had to know why. What was going on here? What was he doing as opposed to what the other person was doing? So that is something that really helped me to get to where I am today. Then I am an optimist. Now, being an optimist can sometimes be a detriment because I just don't want to look at the dark side of things. I just don't like to believe that even if I've done something and it hasn't succeeded, that in the future I won't succeed. I believe that we all can get to great horizons. We all have great abilities, and sometimes it takes a long time to get where we want to go. But I believe that if we just maybe find the right path, that we can get where we want to go. So I am optimistic, and sometimes maybe too optimistic. I have my moments of pessimism, but on the whole, I do believe that my clients can make changes. I do believe that people who stutter in general can make changes. I know that we are dynamic souls and we can do things that we didn't even imagine that we can do. So I'm optimistic that when we have a desire to get someplace, there is a way to get there. Now, I guess that the next thing that I want to talk to you about is one of my disabilities. You know, people always ask me, did you ever stutter? And no, I'm not a person who stutters, but I do have a disability, and I will say that very openly, and a disability that has really caused me problems in my life and has made it difficult for me to do certain things. And that is that I cannot sing. Now you might say, oh, she just sings off key, or she doesn't have a great voice. No, it's not that. It's more. I really cannot carry a tune. Oh yeah, I have vocal cords and they sing songs, but it doesn't sound at all like it's supposed to sound. And it's a problem for me. It's a problem. Love kids. Could never be a teacher of young kids, even when I had my own kids and you want to sing with them. Couldn't do it. Couldn't be part of the choir at school. Totally failed music. And wanted to do things socially and wasn't able to do them because I couldn't sing. Didn't. I mean, I accepted that, but I think my life would have been more pleasant if I had been able to sing. But that's not the point. The thing is that I had to know why. Why can't I sing and other people can? Well, I looked deeper than the surface, and I realized is that I don't have auditory memory for tones. I just can't have difficulty, not that I can't, but I have a real difficulty remembering a melody. So I can enjoy it when I hear it, and I do enjoy music, but I can't remember it. So if you ask me to sing that melody or even just remember that melody 10 minutes later, I can't. So this sort of helped me to because I looked in myself, it helped me also to understand what was going on with people who stutter. By the way, people who stutter can sing nicely. Well, if they can sing nicely, what's the difference? Why can't they speak as easily as they can sing? And this helped me to look in that way and to find those points that are different. So that's something that I'm sharing with you. I can work really hard at learning a melody, and interestingly, some of the melodies from my childhood that I heard over and over and over again, I can sort of remember them. And I learned, okay, I learned that. I did that with my grandson so many times that I actually got to be able to remember it. And if I kept working at it, I would get better at it. Maybe it just isn't that important to me. And that's another thing that it taught me, that for some people, learning how to speak more easily is important, and for some people it isn't important, and either way is okay. So that's something about me that led me to do what I'm doing. So I hope as I'm talking to you that you're thinking of some things in your personality that led you to do what you're doing today, or maybe even looking at the whys, what's going on deep inside you when you're stuttering or when you're speaking fluently. So if you have any of those that you'd like to share with us, please, in the comments below, make sure you write them. Love to see them. So let's look at, I've told you a few things. I'm going to tell you about another thing that has really helped me to be a clinician. And that is that although I didn't stutter, I was very shy. I never spoke in front of groups of people. I did speak in class sometimes, but only if I was absolutely sure of the answer. And even in family gatherings, I was the quiet one. I didn't like to go to parties. I did go sometimes, but I had to push myself. And it's been a real push all my life. I would say to myself, you're going to go to that party even though you don't feel comfortable there, but go, because you can't live your whole life hiding. You can't live your whole life not going. You've got to get out of this. And I pushed myself. And I guess that's helped me to both understand the difficulties that people who stutter have in pushing themselves, but also that optimistic part of me. We can get over it. And it wasn't until I was in my 40s that I would really begin to enjoy public speaking, and I've even been on television a few times. So there's never say never, and I don't really consider myself deeply shy today. I'm on the shy side, but I do like speaking to people, and I have decided that I don't care what anybody says. I'm going to do it, and you don't like it, too bad. And I hope that I can pass that on also to my clients and people I work with. So I think that sort of goes along with that I am a loner. And being a loner, I don't mean in the shy sense, but I like working on my own. And that hasn't been so beneficial to get where I want to get. And where do I want to get? I want people all over the world to know that there is a way, if you should want it, to speak more easily, to not have to struggle when you're speaking. I want people to know that, but because I'm a loner, I have always worked more on my own. It cuts through the bureaucracy a lot. I don't have to put up with that. But I don't have a team. I don't have people doing research for me. I don't have the backing of academia. I'm just a clinician working on my own, but having seen lots of things that are really worthwhile. And so being a loner has really been a detriment, although it has helped me to cut through the bureaucracy, which is positive, and not have to say, well, we can't try this because we have to get approval, or we can't try that. I've been able to do what I want to do, but haven't been able to make it known well enough. And there's another characteristic about me, that I'm not a good strategist. So I don't really plan where I'm going. I opened a clinic, once I learned fluency shaping, I opened a clinic and planned to do fluency shaping. I didn't have a strategy, oh, I'm going to find something new, something different. I never set out to do that. But when I was there and finding, well, this wasn't working, or people weren't sounding natural, or some people were helped but not enough, I didn't have a strategy. Well, I'm going to do this and I'm going to spend my time doing that, and I'll find something and make it well known. I just sort of go as with the steps as they come up. Even when I'm writing, sometimes I just start writing and go with the flow rather than having a particular strategy. And maybe because of that, you can see in my videos, sometimes I go off on tangents. But this is how I am, and this is what makes me who I am. And I think that that's one of my characteristics, is that I have learned to accept who I am. And I hope that that is true for the people who work with me, or the people who use my programs, that you will go with the flow of who you are. And for all of us, we have our strengths, we have our weaknesses. But if we go with the flow of who we are and let our real true selves come out, then it is so much more fun to live this life. And I hope that you will, as you see yourself, maybe not as just a person who stutters, but as a person, and that you will look at the characteristics that you have that make you who you want. And because of that, maybe you're a professor, or a writer, or a computer scientist, or a mom, or a dad, or whatever you are. And that you will allow yourself to be who you are. And you never know where it's going to take you. So this is how I got to be Barbara, the unconventional clinician who really wants people out there to know that there is a way that you can speak more freely. If you like this video, as I said before, make sure to subscribe, and I will be seeing you in further videos to come. Thanks for listening.